So you just passed. How do you feel?
I passed on Saturday and I feel terrific. I mean, it was a long process for me, potentially longer than others, and we can get into that. But
Yeah, man.
um, no, I feel fantastic. I mean, going into it, I knew that this is the time I'm going to pass. I failed once before, and we can chat about that as well.
Yeah.
This time I was dialed in. I knew I was going to pass. I was just, I mean, it's a 4 hour exam. It's just draining. So
Yeah.
that's what I was stressed out about the most, was just staying focused for the entire time and
Yeah.
reading everything and making sure that, I was answering it the way that they wanted. But no, I feel great now, and
That's awesome.
on to the next thing.
That's good. That's the way to do it, brother. So
Yeah,
talk to me a
yeah,
little bit about everybody's got like a journey. Like, what was your PMP journey to get here, man?
sure. So it started. I mean, I've been working towards the hours for years, like everybody.
Yeah.
Got approved by the PMI,
Hmm.
and then I signed up for an in-class course in Calgary, Alberta, where I live, back in January. So I did that in January, and then kind of everything at work got crazy in February, and PMP kind of got pushed onto the back burner for a little bit for me.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, I got to study. Let's book this exam and get it done. And that was towards the end of February, and then COVID hits. So I had my exam date booked for
Yeah.
mid-March.
Yeah.
They obviously canceled that. So then there was a bit of a hiatus where the testing centers weren't open and they hadn't solidified the online proctored exams. So I was, well, I mean, the information didn't disappear, but once it's not in the front of
Yeah.
your mind, you kind of lose it. So once the PMI opened back up with their online proctoring, I kind of got back into it and was like, okay, I'm gonna take this exam, and I did, and I failed,
Mm.
um, which was completely my fault. I mean, I think I was just trying to get it done with. I rushed through my studying, and so I was like, okay, I really need to, do this correctly, focus on the step-by-step processes and really lock it in. Um, what I did was I got I guess it was a online book through Audible,
Yeah.
and started going through that and following along in the PMBOK. And for whatever reason, that book was just not clicking with me. It wasn't working. So then I found yours on Audible as well.
Oh.
I got um, several chapters into it, and it was great. But you kept referring to the case studies and the
Hmm.
John videos, and you were reading them on the case study. But I was like, man, I'm such a visual learner. I wish I could see this.
Yeah.
So and you, throughout the whole Audible book, you're constantly, talking directly to the listener, saying, if you got any questions, reach out. It's got a PMP master prep. You know what? I'm just gonna shoot him an email, see if maybe I can get involved with just the case
Yeah. The
study.
videos. Yeah.
I can have that as another resource. Like with it, I think I hit you at the perfect time, but
Yeah.
within like 2 minutes, you text me back. You're like, Jeff, I can help you. Let's chat. And we talked that day. You got me set up on the whole system, the 7 day accelerator, and everything. And I mean, that was 100% the turning point for me. I went through the 7 day accelerator. Um, I went through bits and pieces of the PMP Success Masterclass as well, just
Hmm.
some areas that I had issues with. I went through that as well. Um, the biggest thing for me was the seven key flows decoded.
Yeah.
After that one, it was like all these questions that I had, you connected all the dots, and I was like, okay, this whole crazy process of 49 things is finally making sense, and I could finally connect the dots and see which process flowed into where and where everything was coming from. And then it was like, okay, wow, like I understand this. Now let's get into the questions and see how they word everything and what they're looking for. So that was, I mean, a complete turning point. It made me going from trying to memorize all these different things to actually understanding what the PMBOK is telling me. And I mean, that was it for me. After that, um, it was just a matter of going through the exam simulator as many times as I could, writing down the ones that I wasn't getting wrong, figuring out why I was answering them incorrectly,
Yeah.
and just spending time going through. I mean, all the different question accelerator or not accelerators, simulators that you provide, and finally getting to the point where I was between 80 and 90 on all my practices, and I was like, okay, I need to book it. Let's get this thing done. I'm ready. I mean, the other thing that was fantastic for me was the EVM made easy.
Oh, okay.
Um, like before, I was dreading EVM. Afterwards, I was like, man, I wish half the exam was EVM questions because I was looking forward to them because it was just, you get them right. If you know the formulas and you know what they're at, like they were simple. So looking back now on the exam, like I know I aced every single EVM question.
That's pretty awesome, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, dude. So you took a regular boot camp back in the day. What was the difference between like a boot camp and the accelerator? Like, what is the difference? If someone said like, hey, are they the same thing? Are they different? Are they totally like, what's up? Like,
I guess the best way to describe it, and mind you, when I went through the first boot camp, I was new to all the material, so a lot of it was learning a new language essentially.
yeah.
Can certainly be overwhelming, but I feel like they're pushing more on the memorization and the brain dump sheet, like get all this information, get it in your head, and then basically just get into the exam and regurgitate it. Where, like I mentioned before with you, it was let's understand what we're doing and why we're doing it, because then you're not going to forget it for one, and you can connect all those dots, and you're going to understand it ultimately rather than memorizing. So that's what you did for me. I guess I don't really know how to explain it any better than that.
That's pretty good. I'm okay with that definition. So like, as you went through, you're busy, you're doing all this stuff. Is there anything that you realized as you went through the PMP and you started doing the accelerator and getting involved with the way we teach or I teach, that you realized that like, oh, what normal people say or what the internet says or the boot camps or whatever they say, like, oh, this is entirely opposite. I don't believe that anymore. Is it the memorization? Is there anything else that jumped out at you that you might not believe anymore?
Nothing comes to mind.
All right. No big deal.
Yeah, nothing jumps out at me there. I guess the way that you teach is significantly more interactive, and you have that opportunity to get direct feedback. For instance, when I'm going through the exam simulator, you hit submit. Okay, I got 10 out of 100 questions wrong here, and 5 of them probably right off the hop. Okay, that makes sense. I read that question wrong.
Yeah.
That answer makes sense. But then 5 of them you're stumped on. You can hop onto the system and pretty much all the time, no matter what time zone. Like I'm 2 hours away from you.
Yep.
There was always somebody online that you can chat with instantly, whether it's someone working for the PM Master Prep or other students who are involved. You can put that question on the chat immediately and then get into live discussions as to why this is the right answer. And I mean, everyone has a different opinion on things, and the way that the PMI asks questions sometimes is a little different for everyone to understand. So you get on that chat and you can figure it out. And so in that regard, it's way more interactive than any of these other programs, which helped me significantly.
Did you hear the baby in the background?
I did, yeah.
Did you hear? I'm like tempted to say like, is there a it's trying to tease out like, what kind of cry is this? Is this like I gotta go, or is this an okay cry? Like I'm on the border. I don't know yet. We're gonna let it roll.
My little one's in quiet time upstairs, so I haven't heard anything
well, you're
yet.
in the lucky zone. So I don't know if that's a dangerous cry or not. Guess I'll find out pretty soon. The fact that no one's opened this door is I don't know. It keeps going. We're going to keep going. All right, cool. So, when you've gone through the material, obviously the focus on like learning and things is big. Do you look at your work any differently, or how you would perceive like project work
100%.
any different?
100%. I mean, I wish I had a lot of this information years ago when I got put into the role. I've recently transitioned to doing something completely different, but the company that I was with last for 4 years, I mean, I wish I had this information then, because it's completely applicable to what I was doing. So when you read a question, instantly you flip it so it's one of your own experiences, and it can make you understand the situation a little better. I mean, a lot of times you can't go with what you think you do in real life or what you had done. You have to think, what does the PMI want me to think about the situation, answer it in that regard. But no, absolutely. I'm excited for a lot of the information that I did learn going through this program. And even what I'm doing now, it's helping me on the day to day, and just the way that I think and attack problems and all sorts of different things.
That's really great, man. That's good. Well, I mean, I'm glad you got more value out of it. So like actual exam day, you said you were ready, you were prepared, you got to keep like the momentum and endurance going. Like, how did you manage yourself? Did you do it like in a place, or did you do it online, or where did you do the exam?
Uh, this is interesting, and you're gonna get a kick out of this at my expense. I did it at home.
Okay.
So I mean, I thought that they did overall. I thought that they did a pretty good job the way that they set it up and proctor it, and all that. So yeah, I booked the exam 8 o'clock in the morning. I log on. I'm slugging through the thing. I'm feeling really good about it. I get to, from what my memory serves, I was between, like, for some reason, a question 156 sticks out in my mind. So
Jeez whiz.
I'm reading this question, and
Yeah.
boom, system's gone.
Oh no.
Like, it shuts down on me. And I mean, at that point, there's nothing I can do,
Yeah.
because you know how the system works. Like, it takes over the computer. So
Yeah.
it's gone. I'm freaking out. I'm trying to track down a number to call somebody. Finally get through to them, and they're kind of going like, well, we have your reference number. We see that you're still in the exam, but for some reason it shut down on you.
Mm.
We don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
So long story, they had to open up a case, and it took, this was on the Friday of the long weekend.
Wow.
So, I was looking forward to passing, having a great weekend.
Yeah.
And now they aren't going to get back to me until the following week as to how they want to handle the situation.
Whoa.
Yeah, which was a complete bummer. So they finally get back to me and say, we apologize. There was a glitch in our system, and it just cut you off. So we can see where you were in the exam, but we have no way of, getting you back in and letting you continue where you left off. So we apologize, but you need to redo the exam.
Oh man. That's
So,
rough.
yeah, I mean, I certainly wasn't happy about it. And
Yeah.
again, it wasn't because I was concerned about failing.
No, it's just you're 156 in, man.
It's
Like,
just so mentally draining, that
yeah.
exam, that I didn't want to have to start again. So I did. They got back to me, last Thursday, and then the next opening was on Saturday. So I took it immediately again,
That's cool.
and got through it, and now we're done. So that was my exam day
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, it
Which
is an experience with an
they
exclamation point. Yeah.
they did tell me that doesn't happen often.
Mm-hmm.
I understand this whole online proctoring is new
Yeah, to the world. Yeah.
to that company as well. So
Yeah.
there's certainly going to be some glitches to figure out. But yeah, that kind of sucked. But
Yeah. And so when you did it, you just like, it went black. Did the proctor come on, or did you have to go to the proctor?
no, because the proctor is, like, that chat is in the system as well.
Oh, so it's like black, black, black. Like you're dead to the world.
It's just back to my desktop.
Oh, nice. So what did you do? Call him?
I called them and I had my reference number and, explained to them the situation. They pulled it up and they're like, well, we still see you as in the exam. You have another hour and a quarter to finish.
Yeah.
You can't do anything. And yeah, they didn't, at the time, they didn't have great answers. So I was pretty upset, a little heated,
Heck.
because your incomplete exam mode,
Yeah.
dialed in and focused to get this thing done, and then it's gone. So
Yeah, that's weird. And so you got a case number, they got back to you, and then they said, hey, you got to redo it,
yeah, they didn't get
pick
back
another
to
day.
me Friday, so it was about 6 days because, like I said, I took it on the Friday, the long weekend, so the Monday was the holiday.
Mm-hmm.
So they probably didn't even look into it until Tuesday, and then they got back to me on Thursday. So
Oh man. So it was a
yeah,
week limbo or whatever in there.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
rough. That's rough.
And I mean, I guess that was the best case scenario. I was hoping they could get me in and I could just finish the last
Yeah, that's something of the
40 some
questions. Yeah.
questions.
Yeah.
But they weren't able to. I mean, worst case, I didn't want them to think that somehow this was my fault and
Right.
one, make me pay for it again
Yeah, that would be the
and
rough part. Yeah.
and count it as an attempt because then
Yeah.
you're kind of
Yeah. One of our other students had, I mean, we got a good number of students. We got proportionally a problem. But one of the guys had something pop up in his screen for like 10 plus minutes that was like blocking some of the questions. It was just some kind of like the chat thing just wouldn't come down or something.
oh no.
And so he just like soldiered through, but 10 minutes of going through questions and throws your mojo off and trying to
Well,
do it. And
completely, yeah.
basically like he basically ended up, crapping out, and he just basically talked to him and they were like, you got to redo it. You're not going to be charged for the thing. It's just a redo, kind of like you. So they seem to be pretty open to the who's culpable. So
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be issues that pop up, but it's just frustrating.
that's cool, man. Well, that's good, man. I really appreciate it. So there are people out there that are like you, I'm probably sure, like professionals, need to get it, been getting it for a while, failed before, or whatever. What would you say to those people that they need to do in order to actually pass this time? What would be your recommendations?
I mean, hands down would be just to get into your system and see the way that you break down the material and explain it and connecting those dots and making anybody understand rather than memorize. I mean, I don't know how you came up with this system, especially
Yeah.
the EVM made easy. Like that is complete genius work, and you deserve some sort of trophy on the mantle for that one because
Thanks.
yeah, that is just was a game changer for me. So I mean, I've already talked to different colleagues and friends who've been thinking about it, and I mean, I can't say enough good things about the system and just the process and how you've broken it down and made it that
That's
much
cool.
easier. I mean, it's a lot of material. Like this thing is no joke, and if you just try and tackle it yourself, it is difficult. But yeah, I honestly can't say enough good things about the system, and incredibly grateful that I initially found you, and then you were so great about reaching out when I shot you that email and brought me into the family because
There
for
you
the
go.
past like 6 weeks I've been on the system every day and like chatting with different people and yeah, it's just phenomenal.
That's awesome, dude. Well, I'm really, really happy that it was successful for you. We knew you were going to do well. You had like the tenacity and you were always there and stuff. So in the right perspective, and you leaned on your experience, which is all our system's set up to do, is to, make you come out in the way that you need to so that you can pass the test. So I am super happy that you did it. And, the next, you said, hey, on to the next thing. What's next, man?
um well, it was kind of interesting how it's worked out for me. I was at a company for 4 years and
Mm-hmm.
right before COVID was let go.
Mm-hmm.
um and when was it, May 5th, I incorporated my own business and
Oh, nice.
started up something completely different than I was doing. But I've got it to a nice point now where it's going to kind of operate as a side business for me. I got a couple guys working for me.
Oh, that's awesome,
So
dude.
now I'm kind of on the job hunt where I'm looking for something full time,
Uh-huh.
and this is going to be, something on the side that I keep running.
That's awesome, dude. Well, that's
Yeah.
good. You got like, I can dig the entrepreneurial ventures. So that is good. And that I'm glad to hear where you get the next job whenever you get it. And I'm sure you'll do exceptionally well. So
Well, I appreciate that very
that's
much.
awesome, dude. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you jumping on and sharing. I think you probably taught a lot of people some good stuff. So thanks a lot. Good job again, man. Cool.
Appreciate it. Thank you,
Yeah.
Scott.